Hi, my little babies. Welcome back to another episode of What the Smut Book Review. In today's video, we're gonna be doing a book review. My 12 head is on full display, as you can clearly see. My chipped and chewed nails are also on full display, as you can see. My nails, every video, get worse and worse. I painted them, so mostly they look okay, except for this guy. These look decent. However, I'm losing, you know when people say like, I've lost muscle mass? I'm losing nail mass. And I don't know why. Biotin? It's that thing, the vitamin you take for, anyway, we're getting off topic. Can't story of my life. It's gonna be, oh my God, that's the title of my memoirs. I thought the title of my memoirs would be, what was I saying? That was gonna be the title of my memoirs. But the actual title of my memoirs should be, we're getting off topic. Right? Okay, in today's video, babies, we're going to be reviewing the third. Give me a minute. Because I'm not ready. I'm not ready for it to be over. Like, is it over? I don't know. Because, we're going to talk about that too, because I got some qualms. The third book in a Danielle made series, The Darkest Temptation. Did you hear that? Thank you, lip gloss. For my bitches who know, if you know, you know. If you don't know, get in the know. This series has been one of the best, and I don't say that lightly, y'all, one of the best mafia written romance series yeah, I still do that I have read in ever. Yeah, I said it, in ever. I still stand by Kresley Cole's Game Maker trilogy. You will never pry those from my cold dead hands. And Sophie Lark's Brutal Birthright series, obviously. But these books, especially book 2 and this one, for me anyway. I know a lot of people love Nico, and Nico's book 1, held a special place in my heart for a hot minute until Christian came along, and then my entire world was eclipsed by Christian. Everything about Christian. I'm gonna have his name tattooed on my ass. You think I'm fucking joking? I have a tattoo design in the works. It's saved in my phone. A tattoo I'm getting for book 2. Yes, I have several other literary tattoos. If you would like to know about those, I have a video. Scroll back. You'll learn all about them. So, I don't take this series lightly, okay? This book, the third book, is Ronen's story. Ronen is so damaged. And you know I love me a damaged man. I love me a damaged anti-hero. It's like my kryptonite. It's like my kryptonite. So that's what we're here to review, is this book. I'm gonna give you guys the deets for the book, and then we'll read the blurb and I'll break it down. We're already 6 minutes in, so you already know we're looking at an hour-long video. It is what it is. If you're not new here, then you already know that you already know not to have any expectations from me, because I will fail to meet them each and every time. Surprise, surprise. No surprise. Okay. So, this book, as well as all 3 books in this series, are free to read with KU. KU is Kindle Unlimited. If you don't know what Kindle Unlimited is, I explain it in every video. I will tell you briefly, and I stress briefly, briefly what it is. It is essentially Amazon's version of a virtual library for people who have a Kindle device. And it is a monthly subscription service that you can get through Amazon for your Kindle, where you can check out books to your Kindle that they offer through their Kindle library. And you basically just read them. When you're done, you return them and you check out more books. I think it's like something like 10 books a month. It used to be. I don't know what it is now. It could be more. I'm not sure. Do your research. Amazon.com. Okay. So if you want to purchase this, okay. If you want to purchase this book for your Kindle right now, you can get this book for your Kindle right now for the price of $2. When I saw that, I thought it was like a glitch. I was like, am I in the Matrix? That can't be right. Most Kindle books, even ones that are free with KU, are at least $3.99, $4.99. $2? $2? Go. $2. It's not a fucking flea market. Don't haggle. $2. Go. I have a fucking hair in my face. I'm mid-rant. I can't afford to have a fucking hair in my face. Anyway. $2. Go. If you would like... Bless you. He looked right at me when I said bless you. It's like I want to be mad at him, but then he does something cute and I'm like, all right, I guess I'll feed you today. Oh shit. Hot. People on here think I'm so mean to this poor rabbit. This rabbit fucking eats better than I do, okay? Dry food, like rabbit food, kale. I buy this fucking rabbit kale, okay? Organic kale. Get out of here with that shit. Take better care of this rabbit than I do my daughter. So, social services, don't come for me. If you want to get this paperback, if you want to get this Sexy as Sin paperback, trade paperback that I'm holding right now, you can get this for $17.99, which I think is the going rate for all of them, if I'm not mistaken. This book also comes in hardcover for $23. Tila, my baby, I'm calling you out, bitch. Tila, you know. When you get there, you're gonna want them. And I know you're gonna want them. Tila at Book Dragon T on Instagram is one of my BFFFs, and she only collects hardcovers. Well, I won't say she only collects, but she collects hardcover novels, and if she can get her hands on the hardcover, she wants the hardcover. So, Tila, hardcovers, $23. So, hardcover, $23. This book, according to Amazon, watch my face fall. Chipmunk cheeks. According to Amazon, this book has 408 pages. Every time. I can do it every time. According to my paperback, this book has 395 pages. Amazon, you screwed me out of, I got highlighter all over the book. You screwed me out of like, what, 10 pages? I don't know, I can't do math, fuck it. But you gave me less pages than you promised me, okay? We could fight about it, but we ain't got time. So, I will read you guys the blurb really quick, and then we're gonna break it down, because this book is involved, okay? I'm gonna try, and I'm gonna try because you know me. I'm gonna try not to give you every fucking plot point of the book so that you don't actually have to read the book, because I've literally just read you the book. I'm gonna try just to give you an overall, like, an arc of the book, right? Like an overarching synopsis. Shock. Okay, so the blurb for this one. A fortune teller once told Mila she'd find a man who would take her breath away. She refrained from telling her it would be literally, while Mila ran for her life. Having always done what is expected of her, Mila dresses the part, only dates college boys with exemplary backgrounds, and doesn't ask questions, not about her papa's absences or his refusal to let her set foot in her birthplace, Russia. Suffocated by the rules and unanswered questions, Mila does what she's always wanted to do. She boards a plane to Moscow. She never expected to fall for a man on the way, one with unexplained wealth, tattoos on his hands, and secrets in his eyes. But it doesn't take long for his caress to become a rough grasp, muffling her screams. Girl, you already got me. Revenge is a dish best served cold. Unfortunately, a Russian winter is the coldest of them all, and Mila soon learns the only way to escape intact is to do the impossible and thaw her captor's heart. Okay. I'm hot. I'm getting hot. Okay. So, the two main characters for this book are Mila and Ronen. If you've read the first two books in the series, you've heard of Ronen, but you have not met him. Ronen is Christian's brother. Christian is the main male character from book 2. If you know Christian's story, you know he's wildly fucked up mentally, right? Ronen is no less fucked up, just in a different way, or in different ways. Okay. Christian took the majority of the trauma, or thought he did, that involved their mother, if you're aware of what I'm talking about, while Ronen watched from a closet. Dun dun dun. Okay. So he's pretty fucked up as well. But we're gonna get to that. Let's start at the beginning, shall we? Okay. So we'll start with Mila, because the book opens on her. Mila is just turning 20. She lives in Miami. She's an only child. She has a father. Her mother is deceased, as far as she knows. Obviously deceased. She's never met her mom. She doesn't know anything about her mom. She's only been told by her father that she's the spitting image of her mother and could literally pass as her twin, basically. And her father really tells her nothing about how she came to be. She doesn't know anything about the relationship between her parents. Her father is a businessman, importer, exporter. Okay, vague much. And she has a bodyguard. Why do you need a bodyguard, bitch? Named Ivan, who is a a little bit old, like older than her, like maybe early 30s, which coincidentally is about the age that Ronen is. So this book also is like slight age gap. So if you're looking for that, yeah, yum. Sorry if I scared you away with that tongue thing. Please come back. I do it a lot though, so brace yourself because I might do it again. So Mila is in Miami alone. Her father has missed the last 3 holidays and or special events, including now her birthday, her 20th birthday. She's had to spend it with Ivan, which is lacking emotionally, not physically, because Ivan is kind of a hunky hunk. And when he first came around, she had kind of a crush on him, unrequited, seemingly, but we're still not sure what's up with that, right? But so her dad is absentee, to say the least. He goes away frequently on business trips to Russia, where he has explicitly told her she is never allowed to go. But why, Daddy? I'm not going to tell you that. You're just never allowed to go there. Okay. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Okay. She has a boyfriend, kinda, but by the name of Carter, who appears to be on the cusp of possibly proposing marriage to her before all of what is about to happen happens. She does not want that. Her father would love that. He's a nice, wholesome, all-American boy. Like frat boy type. Comes from old money, wealthy, straight-laced, missionary position with the lights off type dude, right? Barf. Her dad has missed her birthday. She's pissed. She tells Ivan, I'm going to Russia. Something's wrong. My dad I haven't heard from him in like 3 months. What's going on? Ivan won't give her any information. So Ivan's like, you're not going to Russia. You're definitely not. And she's like, he thinks he's talked her out of it. Mila is, personality-wise, Mila is a hippie. She's a flower child. She's vegan. She will not wear fur. She will not use any animal byproducts in her makeup or hair products. She loves animals. She befriends stray dogs. You know, like, she's that person, right? She's a sweet, nice, meek girl. However, underneath, she also has a very feisty, I would say she has like an inner volcano where when pushed to a certain point, she erupts in like a blinding fit of rage. Damn the consequences. Like, throughout the book, that happens multiple times. Ronen will push her past her limit, and she'll do something to him that, if done by anyone else, they'd be dead. She doesn't give a shit about what happens to her. She just does it because she's mad. And fuck whatever. Fuck the consequences. I don't care. And is it rash? Is it immature? Sure. She's fucking 20. So that's her personality. She also has a very smart-ass mouth, which she uses against him a lot. which surprises him because he's not used to people talking to him like that, which we'll get into as well. So, Ivan thinks he's talked her out of going to Russia. They go home because they're at a restaurant where her dad has not shown up. They go home. Ivan goes to bed. She sneaks out. She boards a plane to Russia. The minute she steps foot off the plane, he knows she's there. He who? You fucking know who he is. So, when she gets there, immediately, she gets almost attacked. Well, she gets attacked and almost raped by an unknown stranger, mugged basically in an alley. She manages to get away. She drops her bag, her coat, her phone, everything. She manages to make it to the back door of a restaurant that coincidentally is unlocked. She manages to get inside. She runs smack dab into a very hard chest. This guy, gorgeous guy, helps her, takes care of her, takes her into an office, puts her on a couch, you know, tends to her scrapes and bruises and blah, 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 blah. Goes out, tries to look for her phone, can't, no, your jacket's not there, can't find your phone. We'll look for your bag. We'll see what we can find. Your attacker's gone, by the way. Don't know what happened to him. Rando stranger. Right. So, immediately, she's checking this guy out. He's so handsome. He's her savior. He's her knight in shining armor. He then, after that first night of letting her sleep on his office couch, he puts her up in a fancy hotel room. He has a delivery boy deliver 3 vegan meals to her every day. And he lavishes her with, you know, just praise and just everything, right? She's starstruck. This guy, Ronen, his name is Ronen. At some point, I think she asks what he does for a living. She's too nervous trying to get him to kiss her that she doesn't even pay attention to what the fuck he says. I think he tells her he's a chimney sweep. Fucking dumb bitch. Okay. So he comes to pick her up. She tells him that she's found out that her mother was a famous opera singer in Russia. And she wants to go to the opera house. So while she's staying in the hotel room, she goes out by herself to the opera house. When it's open, she goes in, she tries to get people to talk to her. She doesn't speak much Russian. She speaks like a little bit. She understands some phrases or some words that from hearing her dad talk, who is Russian, but she doesn't speak it fluently by any means. So she tries to get people to talk to her, to tell her anything about her mother. And when people see her, they get scared and they make like the sign of the cross and they run away from her. And she's like, what the fuck is going on? She asks Ronen about it and he's like, I don't know, it's weird, I don't know. So he's like, you wanna go to the opera house? I'll take you to the opera house. I'll pick you up. Tonight, we'll go. She thinks it's a date. So she dresses as if it's a date. She doesn't have a coat. He picks her up in a suit, and he takes her to a department store that's closed, that obviously he has access to. Pick any coat you want, baby. They'll open up for me. Fucking Pretty Woman style. Right? Get any coat you want. Well, I don't wear fur. Okay, number one. So she picks out a faux fur coat. They go to the opera. He takes her to the opera. Magical evening. Come back. They have their first very hot, in the doorway of the hotel room, sexual encounter. Oh God. Just thinking about it, I'm like, So they kiss. They kiss. And she goes into the hotel room alone. He doesn't go in with her. A couple days later, he comes in. They have another little thing where they almost have sex on the couch in her hotel room. Shortly after that, her whole world blows up. She starts feeling guilty about the fact that she hasn't notified her father or Ivan where she is. Because she has no phone, her phone is still missing or lost. She has bought a burner phone and she calls Ivan and he asks her where she is. She won't tell him because she's not ready to go home. She doesn't want to go home. She knows as soon as she goes home, she's going to have to marry Carter and return to that life, and she doesn't want that because now she's falling for Ronen and she wants to see where that goes. She's not ready to go back to fucking Stepford wife bullshit. Who wants that shit? So she doesn't tell Ivan where she is. Ivan's like, are you paying attention to your surroundings? Are you being followed by anyone? So after that phone call, she's paranoid. She starts looking around her and she sees the same man with tattoos on his hands on several occasions. So one night, she goes to the corner store to get something and she bumps into the same guy with the tattoos and he knows her name and it freaks her out. And who does she run to but Ronen? So she runs to the restaurant. She's not supposed to be there. She's there unannounced. She walks in on him torturing someone and cutting off their fingers. And she realizes, oh fuck, this guy is not who he says he is. From the time that she arrived in Russia, in Moscow, she keeps hearing talk of this name that's being dropped by people. It's being said in Russian, but the rough translation of the Russian moniker is the devil. And they're referring to a person, but she doesn't know who it is. It's Ronen. Ronen is the devil. So when she sees him and she realizes, oh fuck, you're a psycho. You're a monster. You are definitely not who I thought you were. She runs. He sees her, chases after her. Obviously he catches her and he drugs her. She wakes up in a house on the outskirts of Moscow, tied up to a chair. Trigger warning. Candace, trigger warning. For anyone who has triggers, let me go ahead and let you know this book is on the darker side when it comes to triggers, especially like physical abuse. At one point, he does actually hit her. Okay, and that threw me for a little bit of a loop. So I'm okay with like the roughing up, right? Because I expect that from a mafia novel, 100%. I expect that from a kidnapping trope, 100%. I don't expect the main male character to slap the main female character. I haven't read very many of those. Granted, it was not a hard slap. It was not like a turn your head kind of slap. It was more of a, I'm gonna startle you kind of slap. But I'm just letting you guys know it is in there. So do what you will with that information. Moving on. So here we go. Because shit's about to get real. She comes to, and she's tied up to a chair. In front of her is a television. Playing on the television is a video of her and Ronen nearly having sex in her hotel room. Yes, he videotaped them. He also has a copy of that video on her cell phone that is in his possession, that has been in his possession from the night that she was attacked. Coincidentally? No. Ronen, aka the devil, is the head of the Bratva and or the Russian mafia. He's a mob boss. And he's in a vicious war with her father, who is also in the Russian mafia, and who was until recently in Moscow, a big player in the Russian mafia in Moscow, and was run out of Moscow by Ronen and his people. And her father is now stationed in Siberia and has upped the ante in the war with Ronen by killing and mutilating a young boy by the name of Pasha and dumping him off on Ronen's doorstep, basically. Ronen is livid, obviously. The boy was the younger brother of one of his top lieutenants. And from the moment that she set foot in Russia, he has known about it. Because of her likeness to her mother, from the time that she stepped foot in Moscow, people were notifying him that she was there. And he put all of the steps in motion that led her to him and set all of that up. So now he's using her as leverage against her father. So he shows her the video on the phone and he says, let's see what Daddy has to say about how his little girl is being treated by me. And she's terrified. She's so, at first she's confused, then she's sickened. She throws up everywhere. She's pleading with him, please don't send that video. Like she'll be so embarrassed. And when she looks at him, it's like a mask. She doesn't see the Ronen that was in the hotel room with her. She sees the devil. She sees the Ronen that everyone else sees. When she was with him in the hotel room, she saw something else. She knew that he felt something for her, but his revenge means more. So he's now shut that off, and the devil is here. And so he owes it to his men. And if he shows any sign of weakness, he'll lose his position. They'll stab him in the back. So he has to do what he has to do. And so the devil comes out and he plays his part and he sends the video to her father. And immediately the phone rings and her father offers a trade, my life for my daughter's life. And he could set up the trade immediately, but he doesn't. he instead says, no, I think I'll keep my new pet for a little while and see if I can tame her, see what happens. We'll see what happens. I think she likes spending time with me. See what happens. And that's not serving in the best interests of his revenge. It's just because he's not ready to let her go. So this kicks off basically her being his captive in his home for weeks. And he doesn't tell his men that the trade has been offered yet. He tells them that he's in negotiations, or that he's talking to them, or that her father is holding out and hasn't offered himself yet. So while she's staying there, she has an old crony lady who's only speaks Russian and is like kind of a psychotic. And it's like really mean, but in like a funny way. And they like snipe at each other, and they start this back and forth thing that they do where he's mean and cruel to her, and then he tries to seduce her, and then he's mean to her again, and then he tries to seduce her, and then she does this thing where she's sweet and obedient, or attempts to be, and then she has a blow up, and she knocks his teacup out of his hand, or she slaps him in the face. And then he'll have a retaliatory moment of rage that will end in them having some kind of physically sexual altercation that has you like, oh God, okay, yeah. And that happens numerous times. He does not know that she's a virgin. He thinks that she's like her mother. What she doesn't know is that her mother had a reputation. There was a reason why when she went to the opera house, people made the sign of the cross and ran away from her. Her father obviously had a hidden life. He is married with kids, a wife and kids, in Russia. He had an affair with the opera singer. The end result was Mila. He moved Mila to Miami and raised her outside of brothel life. She was like his dirty little secret. The opera singer was twisted, mentally sick and demented. She was a French woman. She came from France. And she essentially helped him lure young girls into his like sex trafficking ring in the brothel. And she helped him with just torturous, sick stuff. So, and she got around, basically. So Ronen assumes, like a mother, like daughter. You look just like her. You must be like her. She's not. She's nothing like her. She's nothing like either of them. She's literally completely her own person. She's a virgin. She's never had sex. At one point, she chooses to have sex with him. When he realizes that she's a virgin, after calling her a whore, God knows how many times, he has a moment of absolute shame. And he feels terrible. And I think it was at this point that he literally like stops. And because of his inner turmoil and what he's feeling, because these are emotions that he doesn't understand himself, he just leaves. He quits. He's like, I can't. He leaves. And so they don't actually like fully have sex. And it was at this point that I was like, I went on my Instagram stories and I was just like, oh my God, if you don't actually have sex with her and fuck your demons out, I'm gonna lose it. I was so mad. But it was so good. The way the story was built was so enthralling that I was so invested. I was like shaking. I was like, if you don't fuck her, for real? I was so mad. So, Ronen. Ronen's history is very dark. Ronen and Christian, when they were kids, their mother, neither one of them knows who their father is. Their mother was a prostitute and a junkie. They grew up watching their mom have sex with men for money and getting high. I think Christian in his book said that her drug of choice was heroin. But she would take whatever she could get. When Johns started looking at Christian, because he had such a pretty face, with interest, their mother realized that she had a money bag sitting on her hands. And they tried to come after Ronen. And Christian, I think Christian said that was the first time he ever killed someone. They never touched Ronen again. However, Christian was sexually assaulted a lot. Ronen watched from a closet whenever their mother would sell Christian to someone. What Christian doesn't know is that Ronen has his own trauma relating to their mom. There was a time that he tells Mila about, very passively, over the breakfast table, where their mother got high and he was in the back of their station wagon and she put a brick on the gas pedal and drove the station wagon into, I think it's the, how do you spell it, Moskva River, with him in the car. And he almost drowned to death. And he managed to get out and he walked home in the freezing cold after getting out of the freezing river. And when he walked into their derelict apartment, his mom was passed out on the couch with a lit cigarette in her hand. And Christian was watching their busted ass TV and looks at him and is like, why are you all wet? And he looks at him and he's like, I went swimming. And Christian's like, it's freezing outside. And Ronen's like, I was hot. And he never tells him what really happened because Christian's already dealing with enough of his own and he doesn't want to put more on him. So Ronen has like his own trauma from childhood. They both watch their mother overdose and asphyxiate on her own vomit. Then they both went to prison for murder when they were teenagers. Ronen got 4 years in prison and Christian got 5 years in prison. They got out when they were 19. Christian immediately dipped and went to America. Ronen stayed behind in Russia and went into the Bratva as an enforcer and worked his way up from enforcer to now head boss. So, Ronen is super fucked up mentally. So Ronen doesn't know how to process emotions like love and caring and patience. So it comes to a head where his men start to notice that he's getting too close to his captive. And it's been a long time. And if Alexei has not offered himself as a trade yet, he's not going to. We should just kill her. And he's like, we're obviously not going to do that. So he has to make a choice. And he has no choice but to say, oh yeah, by the way, he called and we're gonna trade her on Saturday, a week from now. And he tells his right-hand man, set up the meeting for Saturday for the trade. And they set up the meeting. So he realizes he's on a clock and he only has so much time with her. And he's torn in half because he doesn't want to give her up. But he also has to have his revenge. And he owes it to his men to have his revenge. Because he knows, especially with the enforcer whose brother was killed, if he doesn't kill Alexei, her dad, his men will turn on him. And he can't have that. And her father deserves to die for everything he's done. He's a piece of shit, her dad. So all of the stuff with her mom, the information about who her mother really was, all of that comes out towards the end of the book. Right around the time that she finds out that Ronen has set up the meeting and she realizes that she's getting ready to get traded. By this time, she's walking around the house freely. She's made friends with several of his men. She's gotten under the skin of a bunch of people to the point where a lot of his men really don't want to hurt her. They don't want to see her get hurt. But they also know her dad needs to go down. So they're resigned as well that the trade-off has to happen. When they get traded, nothing bad will happen to her. Her dad will go to Ronen to be eventually killed. And Mila will just end up going probably back to Miami, and she will have to start from scratch. She will not have any money. It's basically told to her up front by Ronen, your dad has several sons. They're not going to help you monetarily. They're not going to give you anything. Ronen himself gives her money and tells her, I'm going to give you something to start off with. I want to try and take care of you. He's not, by the end of the book, he basically, on the way to the meet, he's silent and dejected. he, in Russian, tells her, this is not goodbye. Flat out. This is not goodbye. He'll do what he has to do to get her dad. And he knows that if he kills her father, she's resigned. That, like, she doesn't want her father to die, because at the end of the day, that's still her dad. And even though she knows that he's a terrible person, she's come to that fact. She knows he's a terrible person, that he's done all these things. She believes Ronen, that he's done all these things. She's 100% Team Ronen. But that's still her dad. And all she can remember is the father she grew up with, and her dad brushing her hair as a little girl, and that she still has those memories. So she can't reconcile herself with Ronen putting a bullet into his brain. So Ronen knows, if I kill her father, she may never forgive me. So he's torn. And in the car, he's basically like, I'm going to get her dad, but I'm also not necessarily letting her go. I may trade her, but it seems as if he has some kind of plan, an eventual plan, I'll say. So they get to the meet, and they get out, and they see her dad, and he looks like 10 years older from the stress, obviously from the stress. And he apologizes to her, and he looks genuinely upset. And before they can initiate the actual trade-off, there's an explosion. Huge explosion. There's like some silos, like farm-type silos off towards the distance, or like nearby. They explode. We don't know what caused the explosion. It was probably Lexington. So there's shrapnel going every which way, right? Everybody's like, get down, get down. He covers her, or he tries to, like, you know, hunch over. Ronen tries to hunch over her to protect her. Haze, smoke, right? She looks up, or she sits up. Everybody's looking around. What's happening? What's happening? She looks up in time to see her father pull a gun on Ronen. And it's looking like he's getting ready to shoot him in the back. She pushes Ronen out of the way and takes the bullet for him. She gets shot in the sternum, or like the stomach area, and fade to black. Lights out. She wakes up in the car with Ronen, like borderline panic. He's freaking out. Don't you fucking dare die on me, which I love. I fucking love scenes like this. Is it just me? It can't just be me. I lap up scenes like this. Like books that have like near-death experience, and the other one is like panic mode, and it's that don't you dare leave me. Like, oh my God, those scenes. My God, I fucking love those scenes. So that's what's happening. And she's losing blood, copious amounts of blood. It's just pouring from her. And she's shaking, tremors. And he's telling her, like, don't go to sleep. Don't close your eyes, don't fall asleep, right? And she can't get much out. He keeps switching back and forth from English to Russian. And that happens throughout the book. Whenever he gets overly emotional, he starts speaking in Russian to her. She doesn't understand him. He doesn't realize he's doing it because he's getting overly emotional, which is another very cute trait that he has that I found really fucking endearing. And she'll go English, and then he'll switch to English. And she does that during this scene. He's speaking to her in Russian, and he's like, don't go to sleep. And she's like, English. And that's when he realizes, like, okay, you're not as close to death as I thought you were. But then after that, she starts like really losing blood. And she tells him, I'm getting really cold. And he starts really panicking. And he's like, don't you dare leave me. You and all your fucking yellow flower child bullshit. What am I gonna do without all of your yellow in my life? Because that's the thing with her. She literally, all he wears is black. And every piece of color, every fucking article of clothing that she owns is either yellow or has sunflowers on it. Because she's like a flower child. So he's like, if you leave me and take all of your yellow out of my life, what I think, God, I wish I had the fucking quote. I'm gonna find the quote. I need to find the quote right now. I'm sorry. Hold, please. Okay. So he says, I can't imagine a world where you and all your fucking yellow doesn't exist. So if you die, you'll take me with you. Your sacrifice would mean nothing. Nothing. And he calls her by the word that he uses for her, like in Russian, it means like, I think, kitten. I don't know how to pronounce it. In my head, I pronounced it kotyonek. Yeah? I fucking, oh God, that scene nearly killed me. So he tells her that. And then they're rushing on the way to a hospital. They get her to the hospital. And he literally goes into the operating room and holds a gun to the doctor's head and tells him, if she dies, you die. And the doctor nearly shits himself and does everything he can. And she blacks out and then wakes up to the beep, beep, beep. So she knows she doesn't die. And she wakes up to find both him and her father sitting in the same room with her. And it appears as if Ronen has been there the entire time. And he looks rumpled AF. And her dad is sitting in a chair by the door, sporting a very nice, freshly made, like, busted up face. And he looks terrible. And so, essentially, her dad feels god-awful terrible, which he tells her again, I feel terrible that this happened to you. And she says, I forgive you, but I can't forget everything you've done. I don't want to have anything to do with you. If Ronen lets you live, that's a big if. I never want to see you again. Sorry, not sorry. He says he's like hurt, but I understand. And he leaves. Ronen tells her she's been out for 3 days. And this is the moment in the book where I think for 1 minute, I got mad at the book. Like, genuinely mad. Because she has a moment where I guess it was like a come to Jesus moment, where she realizes I had a near-death experience and I really haven't lived a life. So maybe I should get out there and live a life instead of just going from living under my father's rule to living under this guy's rule. And when that happened, I nearly flipped over my fucking table. I was like, are you joking? Call me a romantic. But bitch, that's not how romance novels go. You're supposed to ride off into the sunset together to be with him. Like, what are you doing? You don't need a life. Have a life after you marry him and whatever. I don't need to know everything that you do from here on out. Say your I love yous and move on. And just profess your undying love to each other. And the end. And then you can have a life. But so that's what she does. She basically has this inner monologue with herself. And then like that translates on her face to him, which I guess he had been pondering himself while she was unconscious. And he just lets her go. Ronen, Mr. Possession, just Mr. Possessive, just like, he just lets her go. But he tells her, this is not goodbye. Like the same thing that he told her before. This is not goodbye. Fuck your goodbye. Like, so she goes back to, where does she go? I think she either goes back to Miami or she goes somewhere. She becomes, she gets into modeling. And over the course of the next 4 months, she becomes like a model, a catalog model, and like a spokesperson type model for vegan products, for like all her favorite vegan brands. She's like their model person. And she creates a little career for herself, and she travels to Bali and to wherever, right? Okay. Tahiti, whatever. And one day she gets a text from her dad saying, hey, like, I know you don't want to hear from me, but we're selling the house in Miami. If you want anything sentimental from there, you need to go clear it out. She texts back, okay. So she goes to Miami, and she's at the house, and she's getting together her box of stuff that she wants to take, her birth certificate and all that shit's still there. So she gets her box of stuff, and she's on her way out. And who's sitting at the curb but Ronen? And he basically tells her, I've waited as long as I can. I can't wait anymore. You've lived as much life as I'm gonna let you live. I've given you 4 months. You have to marry me. And he gets down on one knee with a big ass rock of not real diamond, because she won't wear a real diamond. She won't wear conflict diamonds. Sorry, bitch. And he proposes to her. And after some wishy-washy giving him guff, she accepts. And they ride off into the sunset together. They go to Paris. They get on his plane, and she thinks they're going back home to Moscow. They land in Paris. She's like, what the fuck is going on? He takes her to a little cafe where she meets an old lady who sees her and starts immediately crying. And the woman introduces herself, and it turns out to be her grandmother, her mother's mother. And the connection that she had longed for her entire life the affection and just familial whatever that she needed from her father, that she never got that affection growing up. Because he was there for her, but he wasn't touchy-feely. And the fact that her mother was dead and she had no other family, that connection that she needed, she finds in this lady. And Ronen gave that to her. And as they're leaving, he tells her, there's another reason I brought you to Paris. And she says, what is it? And he says, you're marrying me today. And she's like, in Paris? Isn't that too cliche for you? And he's like, no, not if it means that I get to have you today, because I can't wait any longer to have you in my bed. I need you today. I've waited too long. And I was just like, it's kind of slutty, but that's the fucking most romantic thing I've ever heard in my life. So that, my friends, is how the book ends. And I fucking loved it. So, kids, for the rating for this book, I gave it a 9.75 because I wanted to give it a 10, but I gave Christian's book a 10, and I liked Ronen's book, but it was somewhere in between Christian's and Nico's book, which I gave a 9.5, so I have to, like, find that space in between. So a 9.75, okay? I think I made it pretty clear in the beginning of this video that I highly recommend this series. What I wanted to mention in the beginning of the video, on Danielle Laurie's website, for a hot minute, there was the cover for a 4th book in this series. The cover and a title. I don't remember what it was, but it was up there for a hot minute. It has since been taken down. It's just missing now. I don't know if that means that the book has been pulled and there won't be a 4th book in this series. I don't know if it's being changed, the cover. I don't know any information about that. So I want to look more into that, because I don't know if she's planning on ending this on a trilogy or if she's going to continue the series or what. I did sign up for the newsletter, but I guess we'll see. I really thank you guys for sticking with me for another video. I hope you really enjoyed this review. I'm sorry I told you I wouldn't give you a play-by-play, but I kind of did. It is what it is. I did the best I could. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, if you like me or my channel, I would really appreciate it if you would subscribe. If you would like, you can follow me on social media. I do have a members-only Facebook group and Instagram and a Twitter that I don't post to at all. I am on Instagram, however, literally every 5 seconds. So if you would like, you can follow me over there and I will talk to you. If you want, you can thumbs up this video and leave me a comment. I reply to all my comments. And yeah, I really appreciate you guys sticking with me and watching another one of my ramble sessions. I love you guys so much. And I will see you in my next video. Bye. Let's get in it. Let's get lit. Let's get lit. We're gonna try. My camera is literally already shaking. and I haven't even started. Let's try and tighten it up a little bit. That's what she said. Is it what she said? Kegels. Okay. Let's see. Can you see me? Can you all hear me? Okay. Let's go. I'm so excited. I'm so excited to do this review for you guys. Okay. You know when you get yourself so worked up into like such a lather that you feel like you can't breathe because you have such bad anxiety? That's me right now. I'm so excited that I can't fucking breathe. Okay, I'm sorry for all you headphone listeners, AirPod listeners that just got like an earful of me clearing my throat. I'm really sorry about that. My bad. Okay. Lip gloss. Okay. Here we go. Countdown in 3, 2, 1. As if I was so organized. Please. Okay. Having always done what is expected. Loser. Wet my whistle. Tea. Okay. Freckles, could you chomp any louder? Okay. Gotta go transfer files. Be back. Nope, it didn't cut off. Oh, God. My posture. My posture. I forgot all about Ivan. Fuck Ivan, though. Something up with him. I wonder if book 4 is going to be about Ivan.